Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there is Adam Glyn. We got a great episode coming up for you today. We're going to get into some of the biggest celebs that you may not have ever known were in the adult industry before becoming famous. I mean, there's some big names in there. Sylvester Stallone, Chris Pratt. And then there's also people that we know pretty well. Cardi B's name will come up in this. We've got a great list of just people that kind of blow our minds when it comes to things that they've done before becoming a huge name in Hollywood. And then I want to kind of break down some of the people that may have struggled a little bit more in Hollywood after they became famous, after they became really well known. They then turn their sights to the adult industry to help them pay the bills. So we'll get into that as well. But before we get into this, so stick around. You're going to enjoy this episode. I promise you. But before we get into that, I want to talk to Adam. I heard he had quite a big weekend when it comes to maybe a big Bravo show that he was on. So we're going to break that down first. Adam, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. So, Dax, obviously, you know I'm the biggest Summer House fan. I shouldn't say the biggest, but I'm up there. You know, if you give me a Summer House trivia game, I think I could do pretty decent at it. It's the only show on Bravo that I actively watch. I think it's the only reality show that I watch. But I might be on the new season or new spinoff show from Summer House. So this is kind of weird, kind of unique.
Please break this down because I know, like, I'm telling you guys, Adam downplayed what a super fan he is of Summer House. Like, when we go to book guests, he's like, all right, let's get on so-and-so for some Summer House. And I'm like, dude, I don't know who this is. I don't watch Summer House that often. Like, I don't know. Like, I know the big names. He's like, no, this person was an ancillary character 3 years ago on season 2. Like, you break down every single thing. You are a massive fan of Summer House.
I'm just such a random fan. Like, I want the pool cleaner, like the guy who was on the show. I'm just so curious about the show. I've gotten to become sort of friends with some of the people on the show, not all of them.
Well, half of them follow you on TikTok and stuff, too. They love your videos.
They do like my videos. So, there's news last week that broke, that I just found out last week, that Summer House is having a spin-off show. Now, some of the cast members are going to be on the show. Kyle, Lindsay, Kyle's wife, Amanda, and then they're bringing some old people who's been on the show, like Andrea Denver, and there's some rumblings, some new people on the show. I don't know all the details of the show, but I thought this was huge. Like, oh my God, there's a new spinoff show from Summer House based on these people in the city. This is going to be great. So this past weekend, my buddy Kenny Santucci from MTV The Challenge, big celebrity fitness trainer, he runs this huge fitness event in New York called Strong New York. There's like 3,000 people there, tons of fitness and health people walking around this thing, right, Dax? And then all of a sudden, I found out the day before that Kyle was going to be a celebrity DJ at the event. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is going to be so cool. So also at the event was Johnny Bananas, and I know Johnny Bananas pretty well, right, Dax? So I get there, and I'm hanging out. I'm waiting
Johnny
for
very well.
I know Johnny. So I'm waiting for Kyle to, like, come to the event. In fact, I'm waiting outside for him to, like, come in because I want to get an interview with Kyle. I want to get the details of the new show more and more. But then all of a sudden, I'm seeing people walk around with, like, pretty good cameras going on at this event, Dax. And I'm like, all right, something's going on. I go to my friend there. I'm like, hey, what's all these cameras there? They're like, oh, they're filming this new Bravo show based on Kyle and the Summer House people that's them in the city here at the event. I'm like, oh, my God, this is crazy. So I go outside. Like, I was inside, outside, keep going back and forth. And I walk outside.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to know your thought process. In this moment, you're like, okay, they're filming. I could potentially get on. But do you go the angle of paparazzi, fan, or like friend because you know some of these people?
So it's funny. I wasn't planning to get on the show, Dax, one bit. Honestly, all I wanted was an interview with Kyle about the whole thing that was going on, what they were doing. I didn't even consider going on the show or being on the show. That wasn't my strategy, my plan. Because for me, I want to get an interview with Kyle. I want to monetize. I want to put on TikTok. I know he'll get a lot of views. He does very well for me. He's a good guy. Honestly, great guy. Good person.
We had him on the podcast. He's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going in and out of the, like, upstairs, downstairs of the event, waiting for these people to show. I'm looking for Kyle. I can't find Kyle, but they do have this Loverboy tent where he's handing out drinks, and they had this DJ booth before. Like, I'm all set up, but I can't find Kyle. But then all of a sudden I go downstairs and I see Andre and Lindsay hanging out downstairs, and they're hanging out with a PA. I'm like, fuck. Like, I wanted to get them too if I could, but I didn't know what to do. But they're waiting outside. They're with a PA, which is weird. And I see like the PA sort of like miking them up in a way. I'm like, oh, man, I want to go. Finally, I'm like, screw it. Like, Kyle must be up. I see them go in the elevator. So I jump in the elevator too. And I'm in the elevator, and they're not. I'm in the elevator with Lindsay and Andre. They're not talking. Like, I'm just in the background. Like, I could tell they feel a little bit like probably weird, like what's going on, or they're
who's this
up.
weirdo that just jumped in with us?
Yeah, but they don't want to talk either because they're mic'd up. So anything they say, someone else is actually listening to it. So all of a sudden, I get out of the elevator. As soon as we get out of the elevator door opens, and I'm right in the background. There's a camera right there. I'm like, oh no, I'm on the show. So it's them walking into the event. I'm standing behind them, like walking behind them, whatnot. So I knew how to kind of get to them. I knew where Kyle had to be at the tent, and I knew they had to kind of take this kind of bigger lap to get to the tent. So I cut like through some like side door to get right to the tent to see what was going on. And Kyle was there. And Kyle, as soon as I see Kyle, he's like, oh, God. And I start talking to Kyle. All of a sudden, I didn't realize, like, there's 2 cameras filming us. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm on the show. Like, I didn't know what was going on. 2 cameras are filming me, my conversation with Kyle. Now, granted, we didn't really say anything bad. It was when we were like, dude, what's going on? What are you up to? Like, are you DJing? Like, how's summer? What's going on with Loverboy? Sort of like on the surface. But, again, good conversation. Yeah. But then all of a sudden, who walks up right behind me, like, after 2.5 minutes – is Andre and Lindsay. I'm like, okay, that's my cue, and I walk away. And I walk away, and I kind of like vanish, and I kind of watch them kind of go down as far as filming the show, like them all talking to each other. And then, so then all of a sudden, I'm like standing in the background talking to another buddy, watching them film the show. And I don't know what they're talking about, but then Andre and Lindsay helped Kyle hand out drinks to people. A crowd starts to develop because everyone starts to be like, oh my God, they're filming Summer House at the event. The crowd of people start watching Kyle and them hand out drinks, talking to people. And then all of a sudden, a friend of mine comes to me and says, hey, the PAs are looking for you. They want you to sign a release. And I was like, Dax, this is where I chickened out. I felt like such a nerd to like go up to a PA like, oh, hi, I was talking to Kyle. I think you might want me to sign a release. I felt like I was so I did not sign the release. I was like, I figured
then you're not going to be on the show, you idiot.
Well, maybe they'll be in the background of some shots, and I'll be able to call.
No, you won't. They're going to cut your ass out.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be in the background of some stuff because I'll look kind of cool. But I didn't sign the release because I felt such a geek.
If you didn't sign it, they're not going to show you. They're going to blur your ass out.
I don't know.
You done fucked up.
Maybe. I don't know.
Why didn't you sign it? What did it matter?
It felt so weird to go up to a PA and say, hey, listen, I was just talking to Kyle. You might want me to sign a release. Like, I felt so, like,
if they were looking for you, you could have walked up and said, hey, someone was looking for me. I'm here to, I don't know, you guys said something about filming. I don't know. I'm here. What do you need?
I know. I just feel like an idiot. So
you're going to end up on the fucking cutting room floor just like for Happy Gilmore 2. Just like you in
the Entourage movie?
Me in the Entourage movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. But we'll see. I mean, listen, I'm not like, maybe they throw me in. This is, if anybody who works on the production of this show is watching, this is my release. You have my permission. I didn't say anything bad. I don't look like an idiot. You know, I don't think that I look like a love interest of Lindsay Hubbard or fucking whatever. I don't they don't want me on it. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I watched them film. It was kind of interesting because all of a sudden I'm watching them interact. And it's sort of interesting to watch them sort of film a reality show. I've never really seen that from my experience. Like even Jersey Shore or Real World. So like they're handing out drinks and then all of a sudden a producer would hold on a phone and have like a message on a phone and just be like, hey, hand out more drinks or start talking to people. Like start telling them kind of
really
what
like
to
they're
do.
prompting them on like what to do to keep it more exciting.
Yeah, they're like, hey, just keep handing out drinks because they were talking to each other for a little bit. But like, hey, make sure you hand out drinks. Who knows? The whole scene might not make the show, but it was like a small crew too. They might have had like 7 people shooting them. I thought it'd be more bigger scale, but no. Like Kyle was super cool. I talked to him. Like I even asked him to do an interview, but I felt weird because the type of interview I would do, and he was mic'd up. If the Bravo producers heard that I was doing that, dude, they would have like, yo, no, we're not doing that. And he would have gotten in trouble.
Yeah.
It would have been really bad. And I was like, I want to get him off camera because he's a great interview and he's really interesting. He says, everything, but
Well, I'll probably see him at BravoCon next month, so I will.
So are you going to BravoCon?
Yes,
Oh
yes,
man, that's
we've
cool.
already talked about it. Melissa and I are doing the whole thing again. We're gonna hopefully weasel our way backstage like we did last year. Because
do you know the date of it by any chance, offhand?
I think it's like the 13th of November, something like that. It's like the weekend.
Yeah.
So then, what we did last year is we had VIP wristbands, but not all access, and so we were able to get to like some spots, but not where all the celebrities themselves were like they were beyond these like walls, and so we started to sneak back there by like faking that Melissa was getting like just accosted by fans, and so we need to get her back behind like some like protected area, and they take us back for a little bit, and then all celebs were there. We're like, perfect, thanks. Now let's do some interviews. So we're gonna try to do it again.
If I could swing it, maybe I'll come out because I think I have to be out in LA the following week, and maybe if I just go to Vegas and LA, maybe I'll go out to BravoCon. But again, the only people care about is Summer House, and I don't know. We'll see.
It's fun. I'm telling you, I loved it. I had so much fun. We got so much just random swag out of it. My wife was a big fan because most of the swag there, I think, is geared towards women, that you can pick up lotions and this and that. So my wife got quite the haul brought back to her. But it was just fun running into I ran into a ton of fans from the podcast. So again, if you're out there, come find me. I'll be walking around the floor, and it was a great time.
Do you run into any other celebrities, like a Jerry O'Connell at all?
Dude, we ran into so many people. I ran into Kelty from E! I ran into, oh God, there were like all the entertainment shows are there. So I ran into just a lot of people I know from the different entertainment shows. But then backstage, it was just every Bravo celebrity, like every housewife is there, every below deck star, every summer house star, like everyone is at this event. I ran into Andy Cohen last year. I mean, it was really fun. Or not last year.
I could get Andy Cohen to New York. I don't know. Maybe I won't do it. I know you had such a great time, but you should do a meetup for anybody who's listening to the show who's going. Yeah, let us know if you're going to BravoCon. Let us know in our private Facebook group, Off the Record. If you're going to be there and meet up with Dax, maybe I'll go. But I got to be in the West Coast the following week. I don't know. We'll see. Dude, Bad Bunny is going to be the halftime performer at this year's Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm down for it. I love like reggaeton music and stuff, like Spanish music. So for me, I love it. It'd be really cool if you brought out Cardi B because big fan of their collab. I think he's really talented. He's one of the biggest music acts in the entire world, legit in the entire world. So I think he'll bring in a massive, massive audience. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't know Bad Bunny songs, but I promise you, you know Bad Bunny songs. You know them. And I think he has a way to get people up and moving. I think you're going to be impressed, Adam. I really do. I've seen him perform once, and he was great.
I understand both sides. I understand the people that are for this. I also understand the people that are against this. Let's start with the people on for this. Totally understand. He's the biggest music star in the world. It's people. He's having his moment. It's people go crazy for this guy. I understand that he is massive, and there's and the NFL has become such a global game. We see games in Ireland and England. These days it's I think it's only a matter of time until a Super Bowl is overseas. I think it's going to happen eventually. I think it's no way that it doesn't happen. I think it's just the way the world is working, and the game's become so global that it's in order to bring in that sort of audience from people from all over the world to watch the Super Bowl.
But people already watch the Super Bowl worldwide.
I also
I remember when I lived in Mexico, we were watching the Super Bowl. It's worldwide.
Yeah, but it's becoming even bigger. It's becoming more of a global sport in that sense. The other side is I understand that some people could be upset that that it's a Spanish artist that doesn't do any songs in English, and they are not going to understand any word in this halftime show, and they think football is an American sport. So I understand their argument. I can understand why those people are upset. Do I care? No. I mean, pick whoever you want. I mean, I just want to see a show. And, I've heard he does an incredible concert in Puerto Rico. I mean, that weekend, I was there opening weekend for his show in Puerto Rico for his residency. And people were just blown away of how good the show was and the art and everything that goes with it, the stage, like the whole setup of it. I'm sure he's going to do something similar for this one. But, when it comes down to stats, I looked this up. About 241 million people in the United States speak only English at home. If you include people who speak another language at home but also speak English well or very well, the number has risen to about 316 million people. So, the argument is, depending on every data has different studies of how many people actually speak Spanish in America. And yeah, I can understand people are going to be upset about this. They want to see an American artist and it's an American game, but it is what it is. It's a business.
I feel like he could bring a lot of acts out with him, and I think it would be huge. Again, just because I'm such a big fan of I Like It. What is it? I Like It Like That or whatever, the Cardi B and Bad Bunny J Balvin song. So probably one of the best songs that they've ever made. It's so good. So bring her out.
That Taylor Swift turned down the halftime performance this year, and I get it. Her fiance is still playing.
She has to wait until he's done. It's too much to try to do that while he's still an active athlete on the field, because if he makes it to the Super Bowl, massive distraction. If he doesn't make it to the Super Bowl, it sucks to be him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got to separate it. So I think it's probably smart on her not to do it. It would be because everyone would make stories about how he didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but she did, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be good. I hope they bring other people. Again, the Super Bowl's in San Francisco this year. So why they picked Bad Bunny, because I don't think he has any connections or relationship to San Francisco, I don't know. However, again, at this current moment, he's the biggest star in the world. I was trying to think if there's some San Francisco acts they could bring, and someone who's a big San Francisco Giants fan, who I thought would be a great musical act for, and is Metallica. Metallica has some San Francisco ties. I thought Metallica could be a great fit for the Super Bowl this year. I think historic rock band. What do you think if Metallica did that? Are they just not interesting enough?
I think Metallica would be. Yeah, I just think it's too old. Again, I have nothing against Metallica. I think he is going to put on a more visually fun show to watch. And I think a lot of women tune in to watch the Super Bowl halftime show, and you start to get a massive audience. And I think Bad Bunny will appeal to the women and the men in the audience. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like that's why they do a lot of female acts for halftime, because it brings in everyone. It is the one part of the Super Bowl everyone wants to watch. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I get it. I'll be at the Super Bowl this year, I think. I got to book my hotel soon because last year's Super Bowl was going to be so expensive and such a mess. Then luckily 2 days before, of all people, Don Lemon saved me. And yeah, I had the best Super Bowl I ever had. Every time I think the Super Bowl is going to be terrible, somehow it just keeps getting better and better. And it works out great. So, yeah. All right, Dax, do you have a review ready for us, or do you want to get right into?
Yeah, I got one. All right, this one comes from Katrina Buckaroo. It says, addictive, hilarious, and wildly informative. This podcast is my guilty pleasure. 5 stars, by the way. Except I don't even feel guilty. Dax and Adam somehow make Hollywood gossip sound like breaking world news. I'm here for it. They're like the ESPN of celebrity chaos, play-by-play, behind the scenes, and just the right amount of ridiculousness. Listening feels like eavesdropping to 2 buddies at a bar who happen to have the best Hollywood Rolodex. Warning, do not drink anything while listening. You'll spit laugh.
That's so good.
Awesome. That is a great review.
That is a great review.
Thank you, Katrina Buckaroo.
Thank you, Katrina.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it. If you want to leave a review, just put in Hollywood Raw wherever you listen to the podcast, and it's Spotify or Apple, and then go all the way to the bottom. Just honestly, just play with it. Figure out a way to give the review and give it to us, and we'll read a review live on air. The best thing to do to support this podcast is giving us a review. All right, Dax, what's today's podcast about? You had this. I think you were really horny and thought of this category today.
I don't know what made me think of this, but I liked the idea of people that you may not realize were in the adult industry before really making it big in Hollywood, because there's a lot of people that they're trying out things when they're younger, and then shoot, their career takes off and they're like, oh damn, I did that porn or I did that adult film when I was younger, and now it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Adam, I don't think I ever told you this, but maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I got my internship at Extra. Do you remember I interned at Extra first before working at TMZ?
Yes.
I was set because I was doing all this like random modeling stuff, and there was a photographer that hit me up and basically wanted me to do like some like nudish stuff. It was all like artful, but I was supposed to go do that. And right before that photo shoot, I dislocated both my ankles doing a backflip, and I had to call him up, be like, hey, sorry, I can't come down. I'm literally in boots, so I can't do this photo shoot. Well, that ended up, I interned at Extra and then landed the job at TMZ, all while still in these boots, because I was in the boots for 6 months. But then TMZ took off, and I always look back and said, thank God I didn't do that nude photo shoot, because that would have literally haunted me for the rest of my life, when at that moment I was like, oh, that was fun, interesting. But anyway, that being said, I think that is very normal. It happens to people. You wind up doing something that you might regret. And so did you know Sylvester Stallone, early in his career, was a part of a low-budget, softcore, erotic, like sexual film called The Party at Kitty and Studs? This was back in 1970. He was reportedly paid $200 for 2 days of work. And according to Stallone himself, he said he did it because it was out of just financial desperation. He says at the time he was nearly homeless and sleeping in a bus terminal in New York. And then, of course, 1976 comes around, he does Rocky, and he becomes one of the biggest stars on the planet. And so he's really like downplayed the fact that he did this like kind of erotic film, and said, listen, don't look it up, people. He wanted to downplay it a lot, calling it more of a horrendous thing. And that he was like, oh, maybe it wouldn't even be considered or rated that bad. But again, someone who did erotic work that you may not have known of. Did you ever hear that story?
I did not hear this. I wasn't familiar with it. So, wait.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting that most people... did you know that story in advance, though, as far as Sylvester Stallone?
No. I started looking up because I think I started thinking of Cardi B, because if you watch her...
interviews where she talks about everything, I'm like, man, she had to have done porn. Well,
no, I guess I was watching her IG the other day, and she was sitting there. She's pregnant, and there's a bunch of people around her, and she is just like twerking, like she's doing stripper moves in front of all of her fans. And then there's that other shot, like on her IG, she's wearing this like dress that's super see-through to like some kind of event that she went to. And I just thought, wow, like she's super famous. I'm surprised that she's still like so provocative, but I think it's her brand, But then that started thinking like she was a stripper back in the day, and we'll get into her, but that's what took me down this weird road.
It's an interesting topic. So, but do you think doing porn today, before you become an actor, a porn actor before a regular actor, can really hurt your career? I mean, you hear Sylvester Stallone, obviously this didn't really hurt him, but again, he was doing soft core, so it wasn't like, if you want to call it that. I mean, it was, so if you wouldn't even call it soft, it was like a one thing. It was, he did it out of financial desperation again. So
I think that it just makes your Hollywood journey harder if you do porn before. I think it took Kim Kardashian a very, very long time to shed that view on her, right? Like I think she had to work twice as hard as anyone else, because people just labeled her as like a porn star. Oh, she did a sex tape. That's how she got famous. Oh, she's a reality star. I think she had to prove herself so much more than anyone else, that if they had the same trajectory in Hollywood, it would have been easier for people to take them serious.
Who's another celebrity that has adult film or adult work background before they became famous?
Well, I think Channing Tatum is probably one of the most famous people who worked as a male stripper in like Florida. His stage name was actually Chan Crawford back in the day, but he is someone who's never shied away from saying, "Hey, I'm a stripper," and that really led to the success of Magic Mike and the Magic Mike franchise and the strip clubs and the whole thing, because he's never hidden away from it. He goes, "Look, this was a part of my life. It springboarded a lot of my stardom, my dancing, how I became famous." And so I love that he leans into it and says, "Look, it's part of my past. It's all good," and is not shy how it is really turned into a success for him. Not everyone can do that. I remember he had even told Jenna Dewan when on one of their first dates, like, "Oh, this is my past. I was a stripper back in the day." But his success story, I don't think, not everyone necessarily wants to promote their past like he has. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Magic Mike I don't know if Channing Tatum's involvement with Magic Mike, if he produced it. I mean, I don't think he directed. Yeah. Obviously, he was a star in it. He was doing some stuff, but it wasn't. He was doing some stuff beforehand. He leaned into that background. The franchise, if you want to call it a franchise, of what they did, 2 of them. I know they did 2. I don't think they did 3. It was a successful movie. Again, him having that background kind of made him more of a celebrity in a way. It made him more likable, humanized him.
Yeah.
So, it kind of made to the allure of Channing Tatum. Still does well.
I think, well, he opened up a strip club in Vegas, and it's the Magic Mike strip club. So he makes appearances there every once in a while. But that place is, I'm guessing that probably makes him a ton of money, just being the owner of that franchise. And I don't know if there's more than the Vegas one, but smart move on his part. Turn a movie franchise into an actual strip club and then capitalize on it by showing up to it.
It's like a PG-rated male review. You know, if you want to even call it strip club. These guys aren't doing... As far as I know, they're not putting whipped cream on their taint and making girls I've never been, but it's very whipped cream on their taint making girls lick it. It's so disgusting. Oh God, can you imagine if they did that? But it's like they make it like a performance. They make it like a show. So it's very like, again, it's if you're an adult, it's kind of like a provocative show for everyone, I would say. So, it's a good show. But the thing is, too, as far as a business deal, I'm sure he didn't put money on it. He probably put his name on it and gets interest on it and just takes monthly, gets paid on the show.
Oh, that's all you got to do. That's like the best gig. Just put your name on it and take paychecks for the rest of time. Yeah. But Cardi B, I think, is one of the most fascinating career trajectories, going from a stripper in New York City, where she has literally talked about how she does not look at her days of a stripper as a negative. She says she was able to achieve financial independence, escape an abusive and controlling relationship. She said, this is who I am. I will never look back and be ashamed of where this got me to today. I love that. I again, that we sit here and we praise Cardi B every time on this podcast, because I think she's the most real celeb in all of Hollywood. But where she has come from to where she is now is a wild success story.
Well, I think with her, because it was so out there, part of it is what made her into a celebrity. I mean, obviously she had a lot of talent, but people knew her backstory. Oh, this girl's a former stripper. And then the other part of it's like, she leans into it and she uses it to her advantage of some sort. So it's like she has talent plus that history. Oh, she's real. And she doesn't hide away from it. That's what I love. She doesn't think she's above it. She still acknowledges it, talks about it. It's part of who she is. And I would say, again, ultimately, it's part of the reason why she's successful today. I would say part, not all, but part of the reason why she's successful today.
Part. Agreed. Did you know that Chris Pratt used to be a stripper?
No way.
Yes.
Are you serious?
He did some exotic.
I knew about Cardi. Obviously, we know Channing. I didn't know about Sylvester Stallone. I did not know about Chris Pratt. Tell me about Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt admitted when he was younger, he used to do some stripping, some exotic dance work. There was like this whole GQ profile a while back that he claims when he was around 14, which that's not good. Decided he'd start stripping and eventually started marketing himself for small gigs, charging about $40 a performance. He described the auditions in a club saying he went one time and auditioned for a stage at a club, and he joked he wasn't just not a very good dancer. He said that he got some gigs for bachelorette parties and then even performed in underwear at a friend's grandmother's birthday once. He also I guess, was very comfortable being naked and just always loved it. So he thought might as well get paid for it. These were all from him. He self-described this. But I had never heard this. I did not know Chris Pratt was a stripper as a younger kid or in his younger days.
So why do we talk about, obviously, Chris Pratt? No, we talk about Channing Tatum. We talk about Cardi B. Is this a publicist thing where they really don't want to put a lot of gas or energy on this thing? Because he's like this American, plays a lot of like alpha male roles. It seems like he's somewhat religious. But is this like a PR cover-up why they don't talk about him doing this type of stuff?
I don't know. Maybe it just didn't get a lot of press because it was a brief time in their life, whereas Cardi's, like, it was more of a career where for him, he was young, trying stuff out. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know why that hasn't made more news.
By the way, I don't judge at all. Like, you got to do what you got to do to kind of get by, and if there's a demand for it, do what you got to do that's going to pay the bills. So I'm not like angry at him for doing this by any means. I don't care at all. Male, female, they, them, do what you got to do. But it's just fascinating that they did this. Who's someone else, Dax, that you were kind of caught off guard by?
Javier Bardem being a stripper back in the day, I thought was kind of shocking news. Yeah, he had apparently told Ellen once that when he was 20, he performed as a stripper for a day, and that he was kind of set up spontaneous. He was doing some work, and then a club owner said, "Hey, do you mind if you want to come in on Friday and strip?" And he goes, "All right." And I guess he kind of felt pressured, so he's like, "All right, I'm just going to go for it." But the funny part of the story was he claims that he brought his mother and his sister to the show because he was nervous. And I'm thinking, those are like the last two people I'd want at a strip show that I am starring in, is to look out in the crowd and see your mother and your sister. Like, I don't care how nervous you are. I don't want to make eye contact with those two people in the crowd. But then he went on to say that it was a pretty small crowd. But he goes, it was a pretty small crowd. Around 3 people. If it's around 3 people and 2 of them are your mother and your sister, now this is some weird shit. I got to tell you. He said it was just very embarrassing, but he felt obliged to go through with it. It was a one-time thing, limited. It was not a long-term stripping career, but nevertheless, Javier Bardem did get up and strip at some point in his career.
I mean, we should do an episode. I mean, we kind of did. We had Mr. Skin on about celebrity sex scenes and celebrities who went nude on camera. I mean, that's different film. And I always find it weird when celebrities, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, when they go naked. I said this before, when people go naked for a role that they did not need to be naked on. Kevin Bacon, Olivia Munn, when they went naked in a film that it wasn't necessary. So, yeah, very strange. I saw someone, we mentioned once before about Jackie Chan had some history. Tell me about Jackie Chan.
Yeah, this is wild. Jackie Chan actually starred in like an adult film prior to really taking off in the industry. A lot of people don't know about this, but he starred in this Hong Kong comedy called All in the Family. I can't say it in Chinese, even though it is there in front of me. The film is known for containing one of the only sex scenes in Chan's film history. And they described it as appearing in this nude, steamy sex scene. It's not necessarily considered pornographic, but it was a pretty intense scene that some people are like, it kind of borders it. He was just saying, look, this was early in my career. He was doing anything he could do to make a living, but the film is considered erotic adult comedy, not hardcore porn. Either way, he did it. I've never seen it. But
I
it's,
hope you never
again,
saw
one
it.
of those.
Yeah,
but
I
one
mean,
of those films that I think people look back and they're like, well, not proud that I did it, but it is from a time in my life where I needed work and I needed money.
like you said, people need money, so you gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills. You don't hear. I've never heard that Jackie Chan, Javier Bardem, Chris Pratt, Sylvester Stallone. I really didn't know. I heard like rumors, but I didn't know if there was actual truth to it. So that's interesting. How about anybody else you got?
Well, I mean, I think we could mention Pam Anderson in here just because she was, she did so much Playboy back in the day.
Yeah.
And okay, we'll skip her because everyone kind of knows her.
She was a model and she was a nude model, but she was a great. Listen, she's a Playboy Playmate of the Month, and she was a beautiful girl. Like she did Playboy.
Okay, I got a new one for her. I got another one for you.
Playboy girl mainstream.
Cameron Diaz being in a bunch of erotic photos prior to becoming one of the most famous actresses in Hollywood. This was a really infamous situation that she had done some photography back in the day, early when she was young, teens modeling. She worked with a photographer named John Rutter, whose catalog included some really risque nude, semi-nude content. And years later, she blew up in the industry, right? She was doing masks. She was doing all these huge movies, and she went after him, sought legal action to basically suppress the sale, the distribution of some of the images that he took of her, because at that point in her career, it would have hurt her career for those to come out. And so in 2005, a judge removed several racy images from the sale in California because of this lawsuit that came out. And so she has referenced, she's talked about in the past that she did erotic modeling. And it was mostly because some of the big tabloids had found it, talked about it, published not the photos, just the information that she did some erotic stuff when she was younger. So not a lot of details because the photos never came out, but nevertheless, she did some nude photography.
So I'm going to tell you a story real quick about a story. I don't want to say the person, but
okay.
There was a celebrity that before they became famous, they did a video. I guess they were hooking up with someone before they got big, and an older person who was sort of financially supporting them. And she did a video for this guy, or else they filmed something where she was doing some stuff to herself, and this person all of a sudden eventually gets famous and becomes big and becomes a star. And this guy realizes, hey, I got this video of this girl. And he starts to put out, hey, I got this wild video of this actress like doing some crazy stuff to herself. So at the time, the actress, well, here's the thing. She reached let me start over again. The guy started to try to sell the photos in the video. Now, none of the outlets could put out the content because they would get sued. Like,
she didn't sign off.
First of all, you just can't. Yeah. You can't do anything. The person didn't sign off on it. However, they could do a story on, hey, there's a person selling something. So they did a story about the person selling it rather than putting out the images. Now, back to the actress. The actress was dating someone who's was a celebrity himself and very wealthy. He paid a private investigator. Now, this is what I was told because I saw the other part. But the private investigator apparently was sent by this person. Private shows up the guy's doorstep with $100,000, goes, hey, here's $100,000. Shut up. Don't say anything again. Erase this video. Throw it in the fire. I don't want to hear anything about it. And that's how they kind of got rid of it.
And it went away.
It's
amazing what money can do for your career if you've got enough of it.
Yeah. Give me one more person, Dax. Do you have one more person you can tell me about?
I got one more person. Did you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger did some erotic content before he became super famous, and while he was kind of up and coming, he did a bunch of
bodybuilding
nude
is sort of
photos.
erotic, but he did it nude. Huh?
But he did some like nude kind of stuff for a magazine called After Dark, and this was back in 1977. The issue was called Muscle Bound for Glory. He was obviously at that point really just known for being a bodybuilder. He hadn't started doing movies. He hadn't, really made a huge name for himself. And so in the photos, he appeared nude and partially nude, including one with partial genitalia exposure. I like
partial.
How they describe
That's crazy that you're able to do a photo partial. If you did partial for me, you get all of it. There's no partial with mine. There's no half. There's not a quarter. No, whatever small speck of glimpse you get in, no, you got it all.
So the After Dark was a magazine whose content included erotic and homoerotic imagery of bodies, especially the bodybuilding people. And so Schwarzenegger later talked about it, saying, look, the images were embarrassing but fun. And then in 1992, Schwarzenegger addressed the controversial pictorials, and he said it was just, it was what it was. I don't think he necessarily regrets it, but I don't think he looks back proudly on it either, if that makes sense. And so, listen, when you work that hard on your body, a lot of people want to show it off anyway. Let's be honest.
Well, is there anybody? So I think we had her on the podcast, but how many people
who
got into the adult entertainment industry after they became famous, and is it even worth it? Because I know the girl from Boy Meets World got into adult films after,
Maitland Ward.
She was saying,
by the way, Maitland Ward was. Yeah, Maitland Ward, she was a phenomenal guest for us. She actually did really well for us, but she was on Boy Meets World. She obviously made a name for herself. Then she got into the adult industry back in 2019, and she became huge. I think she made way more money in adult films than she ever did in like traditional Hollywood. Like massive, massive star in the adult industry.
No, she's done very well, and she says it's like tasteful, and it's like, listen, you can say, yeah, it's tastefully. What? Because it's a set? No, it's still adult films. Like, you can say what you want, but yeah, I mean, she's doing financially. She's making a lot of money. I would actually even argue she might be the wealthiest person that came from Boy Meets World. Nah, that show did well in residuals, probably. Nah, I don't even know.
But there is something to be said, like. Yes, that show made them a lot of money back then, but she is probably making the most money right now. You know what I'm saying?
And she owns it too. She's proud of what she's doing. She doesn't like hide around. She's
she makes a shit ton of money. But do you consider like someone like Bella Thorne, who joined OnlyFans back in like 2020? I don't know how much money she makes now, but I remember when she first joined, she made like $1 million within the first 24 hours. Do you consider that like her changing into the porn industry, or just kind of dabbling her foot? Like Denise Richards also. I don't think of her necessarily as a porn star, but she has an OnlyFans account. She does all this like behind the scenes content. Is she a porn star now, or is she still like a Bravo celebrity that dips her foot into kinky shit?
It's hard to say, Dax, because I am not an OnlyFans subscriber. So with that said, I don't know what type of content they're doing on their OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. Now, if they were doing this on Patreon, will we consider it porn? No, I don't know. Just because it's associated to OnlyFans, we consider it porn. And there's other kind of paid services you could do for stuff like this. Like adult exotic type stuff. I don't know, because she takes risky photos, like Maxim style photos, and people are going, is that adult? No, I think she's like, hey, I'm going to just take advantage of this and make some money, and I'm laughing to the bank. So it's hard. I don't really consider the stuff they're doing. From what I don't think they're nude. If they're not nude, I don't consider it adult content. However, obviously they are leaning into an adult audience because they know some guys are probably getting off to it. So I think
Farrah Abraham, does Farrah Abraham still do content, or was that like a one-time thing?
I
back
mean,
in 2013
she
when
became
she
famous,
did.
and then when she was famous, then she did the adult tape, exotic tape.
But has she done anything since? Like, does she have an OnlyFans, or was it like, hey, I
don't
did
know.
Backdoor Teen Mom back then, and now it's like done?
I don't know. I wish
don't
we
know.
had I wish we had a producer who could fact check as we're doing the show and look into it and let us know. By the way, if I'm not saying the words like some of the words, it's because when we clip the show and put it on YouTube or TikTok, they will flag us just because we said the word, and that's why I'm like dancing around some of the subjects. But yet again, I say the word taint and we're good. So I don't know why, but I just feel like maybe that will get through the algorithm, not that. Who someone else has gotten into the adult?
Well, I think one of the most famous ones from my time at TMZ, one of the most famous people that turned to adult films after notoriety was Octomom. Do you remember Nadya Suleman?
What'd she do?
She did an adult. She did Octomom Home Alone back in 2012. Yes,
I forgot
and she
about
won
this.
an AVN for Best Celebrity Video.
Wait, so it's like a sex tape?
Yes.
I did not
know remember
about
this?
That.
So, this story was huge, and it was particularly big because Octomom was from Southern California. I remember she would drop her kids off at like Cal State Fullerton, which I went to school at. And so like she was in the area. So for me, this became a massive story, Octomom and the kids. And then she turned to adult films because she needed to make money with all these kids. Like this was such a huge story when I was at TMZ. And it was so wild. And to think, I mean, listen, you can't really knock her because she needed to provide for all of those children at a time where like she was in financial ruins. So listen, do what you got to do. You got to feed those babies.
Yeah, I don't judge. I mean, it's going to be a harder conversation, obviously, when they get older. But
I would love to see, like, what is she doing now? What do the kids look like now? I am so interested by that whole Octomom situation just because, again, it was huge when I was younger.
I think I've seen all the celebrity sex tapes, but I didn't see that one. I even saw the Dustin Diamond. I saw the China.
The China
I'm
one
saying
was
this
brutal.
like I'm bragging too. Like, oh yeah, I saw it. Like it's nothing cool. I'm such a loser. But
Did you ever see the Vern Troyer one?
I saw that. That was the one. I mean, yeah, that was a tough one. I won't say I finished. I said I was done 2 minutes into it. Not even. I don't think. I was just like, okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh man, there were some crazy ones out there.
By the way, it says I just looked up Nadya Suleman porn, and she says I'm open to doing it again. She said that back in 2012. I guess anything to support her 14 kids. So,
yep.
I can't really blame her.
Huh. Yeah. All right. I think that's enough talk for us. I need to
everyone else
go take a shower now.
Yeah, everyone's all looking up the Octomom video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching it on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record, fun community. We all hang out with each other. Let us know if you're going to BravoCon. Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily. Hurry up. Come on, let's go.